What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. It's Monday. It's 6 o'clock. We got to do a live show. We got to talk some football. The week is here. We got football this Thursday. I'm so excited. We're psyched out of my mind. We will actually, no, not today. We'll do that our Thursday video. We'll do our Thursday's predictions of that night game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Way to kick off the season. Am I right? Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Rams. Come on, we could potentially be seeing that in the Super Bowl, potentially. And if we're for all you non-believers out there, because obviously it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers that's going to be up there in
No,
the
no,
Super
no,
Bowl.
no. Come on, AJ.
We're starting this. Hey, we're starting this. But you know what? Today we're not talking Niners. We're not talking Rams, Bills. No, we're talking Pittsburgh Steelers. They came out with some big news today. They announced that week one that Mitch Trubisky will be the starter against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, really, if you really think about it, was that really in question? Wasn't it? Were you questioning that, Mitch Trubisky might not get the starting gig this year? I wasn't. Why would he not? The Steelers went out of the way. They got him for 2 years. They got small hand Pickett, and why would they do what the Bears did? Why would they go out there and kill their rookie quarterback? I mean, if you look at it, these preseason games, the Pittsburgh Steelers O line hasn't looked that great. It hasn't. I know they replaced what was it, their right guard and their center. Those are two new guys. They got them from different teams. I believe Minnesota is one of them, and Baltimore is another one. But yeah, you have an O line that wasn't there last year. Not that they were great last year, but that's where they're struggling at. So why would you put a rookie quarterback that's supposed to be your franchise quarterback out there and just allow him to get steamrolled and demolished and just killed, kind of like what Justin Fields experienced last year? Do you believe in that? Do you believe that could happen? Do you believe in Tomlin? What are y'all's thoughts here about Mr. Trubisky being the starter? Is this a smart move?
I think we all predicted it. As far as yeah, I think there was always a chance that Pickett could have started. If Pickett just had an amazing camp, was just looking better than Trubisky on like a daily basis, then sure, I think they would have started the better quarterback. I don't think Tomlin was scared to say, "Oh, we put all this in Mitch Trubisky. Let's go ahead and do something else." I don't think Tomlin was 100% on Mitch Trubisky, but Mitch Trubisky did play pretty decent in the preseason. It wasn't amazing, but with him getting the captain, being elected as one of the captains for the offense, I think that shows that in the locker room he has been a leader for this team and for this franchise. So I like Mr. Trubisky. I honestly think he's not that as bad as you guys have made him out to be, and I think he could potentially be a decent quarterback for the Steelers.
All right. I'm glad how you mentioned that he's a captain. Yes, they did also vote for captains. We got it right here on the screen. We got Najee Harris, Cameron Hayward, big whoop there. We knew he was going to be a captain. Miles Killebrew, Mitch Trubisky, and TJ Watt, another big surprise there. Now, I like the way the team chooses their captains here, okay, because the team votes itself. I know it's different in all these other clubs, but the team will get together. All the players will put in votes, and they'll put out who they like to be as their captain. Now, obviously, if Trubisky was voted captain, that means he's doing something right in the locker room. He's doing something great out there in the field, which people are allowing him to lead them. Now, can he lead them to victory this upcoming season? I don't think he's the greatest quarterback out there, but I'm also not saying that he's a bottom tier quarterback, Reed. Now, as far as their schedule, I don't want to predict something too early, because I did watch that show with the Steelers prediction video where I wasn't a part of. I was out, and Reed and Vince did. They like to bash me a lot in that show
We
whenever I'm
never
not
did
on.
once.
Excuse me?
We never said anything bad about you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all acted like I didn't watch the show just because I did a comment. I did watch the show, so I remember everything. Okay, so today's
Okay.
kind of like a little bit of a review for you guys. Okay, this is employee reviews, so I will be doing my own
Whoa.
schedule prediction for this team, and we're gonna go ahead and compare and contrast and see how y'all did. Okay,
Okay.
because I
Okay.
think y'all did great that show. Congratulations, y'all did it.
Mhm.
But you know what? I wasn't too thrilled about it. And I want to
Okay.
let y'all know, yeah, wasn't too thrilled. As y'all were saying, that I'm probably throwing read word for word. AJ's probably at home throwing things around, yelling at the wall. He said that, so you could quote that. Go ahead and clip that, Nestor. Nestor, I'm so disappointed you're not here right now. We're talking about your team, but they did name the starters, so great. That was kind of a giveaway that Trubisky was going to be the week one starter, so that was announced. What was it, like 20 minutes to an hour later? That was revealed that the depth chart came out,
Hmm.
and Trubisky was the starter. So I'm not too. I mean, I am worried about the quarterback position, but also the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are dealing with a lot of injuries. Okay, one of the captains there, T.J. Watt, he dealt with an injury in the first half of the preseason game against the Detroit Lions, where he left the field, and right now he is questionable for Week 1. Now, how big is that? They're going against the Cincinnati Bengals, a divisional game, huge rivalry. Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year. They have to put up a fight. And if they don't have TJ Watt, it's going to be kind of hard for them to win that game because they're also dealing with other injuries on the defensive side. They also lost was it Alex Highsmith, their starting linebacker. Now that's also a huge hit for the Pittsburgh Steelers because the Steelers are known for their defense. They are tough, hard hitting defense, and this year it looks like they're kind of lacking that traditional way that they're so used to. I mean, one of the starting quarterbacks is Ahkello Witherspoon. Are you kidding me? Ahkello Witherspoon, he's so inconsistent. Former Niner, he came from Seattle to Pittsburgh, and honestly, inconsistency is the name of his game. Whether it be from injury, whether it be from being the best player on the field to the worst player on the field, that's super inconsistent. And I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be hurting defensively. Yes, they got Mika Fitzpatrick, which I adore, which they got on an absolute steal from the Miami Dolphins. He's going to do great for them. But as we saw last year, there's only so much that Hayward, TJ Watt, and Mika could do. It is a team sport. So when you're playing defense as a team, you need the whole team to rally up and get something done. Now, those three players cannot do it themselves. Now I want to switch over to the offensive side. This is where I'm getting worried, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me, once I want to put this up because
Go ahead.
I
Go
work
ahead.
so hard on these things and I just forget to put it up all the freaking time. So will TJ be ready? Honestly, I do believe he will play throughout this injury. It is a hamstring injury. It is not too serious. They do have a couple players on injured reserve. They are backups though, which is it's limiting them in the quarterback depth position. So they have two corners that are in IR, and they also have one free safety that's in IR. That's huge for them. Okay, these guys can't get injured. They can't because once they do, they have no one. They're gonna have to go out with the free agency, and trust me, that is not fun. It's like playing Magic the Gathering, and you got no cards in your hand. You're top decking now. You're top decking, and that's so risky. You don't want to do that, especially if you're trying to win that division. Because Pittsburgh Steelers, you do have a chance. There's always a chance. There's a chance this year, but they have to be ready by week 1. And I do believe TJ Watt will be ready week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals and that restructured offensive line that they did this offseason. Now I want to get to the offensive side. We named 3 guys that are very important there. I want to name another 3 guys that are very important. Okay. Najee Harris, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson. They are injured. Yes. Najee Harris, if you guys don't know, he is dealing with a Lisfranc injury. Okay. And if y'all do not know what a Lisfranc injury is, I got the definition right here. It says a Lisfranc injury occurs when bones in the midfoot are broken or ligaments that support the midfoot are torn. And they're common within football players because oftentimes they happen when one player steps on another player's foot, or if a player's cleat doesn't release normally on the field, which has to do a lot with turf. Get rid of MetLife Stadium, please. But Najee Harris is dealing with this. He will not miss time, but do you really want a top 5 prospect running back that's on your team to be hurting every single game, to be hurting week by week? You don't want that. You want this guy to heal up, but I don't think the Steelers can afford that. They really can't. Another person, Johnson, he's dealing with a shoulder injury. Also got injured there in the Lions game. He came out. He had a sling on there. So will he be ready by week 1? It's questionable right now. Do I think he'll play? 100%. Chase Claypool also dealing with the shoulder injury. It hasn't been reported, but you know what? I was listening to what's that called? A beat reporter. Yeah, a beat reporter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he He announced that Claypool came out to Tomlin and told him that, you know what, I'm injured. Just want to let you know, but we good. So yeah, he will be playing as well. But now you're dealing with a banged up team. You can't afford a banged up team right now. And you guys, we haven't even started. You can't afford it. And that's why I want to get into the schedule prediction.
Okay.
Okay. To see what I think they're going to look like. And feel free to interrupt me, you guys. Feel free to interrupt me to
Oh,
tell me,
us?
yeah, you guys,
Okay.
yeah. Feel free to
We
interrupt
would
me. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm this. Tell me I'm that because
we
yeah,
would
that's what it's
never.
all about. Oh, you
We
would
would
never.
never. No.
Okay. Okay.
I just want to talk about Le'Veon. I mean, not Le'Veon. Najee Harris. I want to come out with Le'Veon because Le'Veon Bell was the last running back to have a Lisfranc injury with the Steelers back in 2013. So we all know what happened with Le'Veon Bell. He kind of fell off after that injury. So maybe it wasn't that early, but after a while, that injury did hurt him a lot. And you can bring up the schedule right now, AJ, if you want to. But this Lisfranc injury, it's a long recovery. And usually when players do not recover from it without playing and really rehabbing it, it really takes a toll on their career early on. And it can really damage their career from being a long-term successful career. So the rehab on this, just to shed some light on this, is average 11.1 months. That's
the whole season.
That's to fully recover from this Lisfranc injury. Of course, you can play with it, but you're just like AJ said, not giving it a rest. That foot, you use it to walk, use it to run, you use it to plant, use it to cut. So every time that he's out on that field and he's getting hit or he's trying to make a cut to avoid a hit, Najee Harris is just going to keep getting worse and worse, and that foot problem is going to probably come back to bite him in the butt and the Steelers in the butt.
So all you fantasy players, if you guys are looking for someone to handcuff, you got to get this guy. You got to get this guy, Jaylen Warren. Okay, he is the backup. He beat out DJ Snell. So he is the running back 2, and he will be ready to fill in that spot. Okay, I'm super excited. Hopefully, Najee could pull through, but you don't want your starting running back to deal with this injury. Okay, you want him to play for a long time in your team, not for a short time. Because we here for a long time, not for a short time. Y'all know what I'm saying? Okay, let's get into the schedule right here. So this is the Reed and Vince did their schedule. Okay. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Reed, that is not how we do things at NSP, not by a coin flip. Okay. We got to duke it out. I was expecting you guys to boom, boom, 1, 2, hit 2, 5, 4, to get them out of here. What's up, Nestor? Today, we're talking about your team. So stay tuned. I'm going to be doing the schedule prediction here. Okay, here we go. So
I kind of like that coin though.
Can I move on?
Yeah,
it was a nice nickel. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice nickel. All right. So week 1, they're going to Cincinnati against the Super Bowl visitors. It's a banged up team. All right, it's a banged up team, and yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to do it. That was Saturday, Nestor. That was Saturday. That was with Reed and Vince. But here I'm going to give my little input on the Pittsburgh Steelers since I was not present and I was slacking off. Here, I got the Cincinnati Bengals winning here. Okay, they're just a high-powered offense. They restructured that O-line, and TJ Watt's coming in injured. They need TJ Watt in order to win that game, and 50% TJ Watt's not enough for me. Week 2, Pittsburgh's at home, not at Heinz Field against the Patriots. Okay, now these guys are still very high. I know you guys had the Steelers winning this game, but I guess what's up?
It's not Heinz Field anymore. It's Acrisure Field.
That's what I said. Yeah. It's not Heinz Field.
Oh, my bad. I heard you say they're not at Heinz Field anymore, so I thought you still thought it was called Heinz Field.
Nope.
My bad. Go for it.
All right, and then we got Patriots. I'm not very high on the Patriots this year. I do believe the Pittsburgh Steelers can come out with a win, but dealing with all these injuries, let's say they get an injured in corner right here with the Stats and Bengals. And yes, this is an if, okay? They are done for. I know Mac Jones is not a gunslinger like everyone thinks he is, but you know what? They will be done for because they don't have no depth in that defense. Unfortunately, I still got the Steelers winning here. So week 2, going to week 3, even without Deshaun Watson, they have a lot of talent over here in Cleveland. Okay. And I do mean a lot, especially in that run game. Hopefully TJ Watt can be 100% healthy this game because they will need him going to get to Nick Chubb and a very, very run heavy offense without Deshaun. But you know what? They also got Amari Cooper out there in the backfield, and I do think they could make it happen, especially with a mobile quarterback like Jacoby Brissett. I got the Cleveland Browns winning week 3. Going on week 4, we got the New York Jets going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm very high on the Jets this season, but not that high where I have them beating the Steelers at home. Going week 5, I will explain this because the Buffalo Bills, they are going to be attending the Super Bowl this upcoming season. They're just that good. Bills Mafia, that they're that good defensively, that good offensively. I got the Buffalo Bills put on top. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady's dealing a little bit with some relationship issues, but you know what? Who hasn't? You know, he's going to use that anger. That's the forbidden pre. He's going to use that anger to do great this season. He will be wiping out the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. Going into Miami Dolphins, Pittsburgh against Miami. We're very high on Miami. I do feel like they will figure it out by this time and get that run-heavy offensive system going, even too much to overload TJ Watt because they're going to be utilizing Tyreek Hill as a triple threat. Okay, he's going to be a wide back, and really, I haven't seen a defense really stop that wide back position just yet, especially with the cheetah back there. I got the Miami Dolphins. Week 8, Pittsburgh Steelers against the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people are very high on this, and I know they're very high on this, the Eagles team, but I am not. I am not fooled. Yes, they have the best offensive line, but you know what? As long as you contain Jalen Hurts, you will win the game because you got to allow Jalen Hurts to try to win the game without using his legs. If he's just reliant on his arm, you have a better chance. I'm not saying you will win. You have a better chance. And I do think they can contain, not totally stopping him, but it'll be a close game. And I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. Bye week, we got a water break for the guy who shall not be named because he does not watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
So bye week, then we're going to week 10 against New Orleans Saints now because without Drew Brees, you really ain't nothing, man. So New Orleans Saints going over there to whatever field they're at now. I forgot what you said, Vincent, but it's not Heinz Field. Akushi B Field. Pittsburgh Steelers, do they have enough to take out this team? Honestly, I'm very high on the New Orleans defense. I think they have a solid D. I think it's going to be a top 10 defense in the league. And with the offense that they have with Mitch Trubisky back there, I think Kenny Pickett will be the starting quarterback at this time already. But still not enough to beat the New Orleans Saints. Then we're going to week 11 against the Cincinnati Bengals. And you know what? Cincinnati Bengals are here to prove a point. They will sweep the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going into week 12, Matty Ice, there's ice in his veins. They're going to wipe out the Steelers. Week 13, Steelers against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, do they have something going on? I do feel like they're in a very similar situation as the Pittsburgh Steelers. But then you got to look at the head coach now. Now, who's the head coach? You have Mike Tomlin over here, and you have whoever it is over there in that. I can't even think of the name right now. It's going to be coming down to the coach's play, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will have this game. Going to week 14, you got Lamar Jackson going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Huge rivalry game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I predict 2 fights to break out this game here. Okay. Now, can the defense stop Lamar? They've done it before, and they could definitely do it again. I had the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Baltimore Ravens at their home. Then you go week 15, Baker Mayfield. Is he this? Is he that with a bag of chips? Is he waking up dangerous? No, he's not, because he's not a dangerous person. Okay, that's not what it is. Pittsburgh Steelers will win this game against the Carolina Panthers. Week 16, you have a new high-powered offense, a resurrected Derek Carr with his best buddy, a Hall of Famer, Devontae Adams. Now, with the very little depth that they have in corner position, do they have enough? Can Ahkello Witherspoon freaking D up Hunter Renfrow? Because I know he won't be lined up against Devontae Adams. No, he cannot. This is one of the games that he'll be super inconsistent defensively. I got Derek Carr. He's a pocket passer anyways, but I do have TJ Watt getting 3 sacks this game. Yes, I said 3 sacks this game. Week 17, I don't believe the Pittsburgh Steelers can sweep the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens, they always show out late in the season, and I do think they will continue to do that. And now we have week 18. We got Deshaun Watson, who is the biggest bust, in the biggest mistake in history. Biggest mistake in history. And I have them winning against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yes, I know what I did. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I had them going 9-8.
So there was a couple games in there, AJ. You were saying something and you chose the other side.
Yeah.
But,
did I really?
Yeah,
it was on
I was going so fast.
It was the Ravens. You meant to
on the Saints.
You said the Ravens
the
here.
Second one
And the
second
Saints.
game.
Yeah.
There you go.
The
Yeah,
second game you said, but
I was going so fast, you guys. So like I said, I'm just boom,
You're
boom,
good.
at it. I actually had them going 7-10, which I know when I saw 9-8, I was like, I wasn't being that considerate towards them. But yeah, I
Yeah.
had them going 7-10, and I do think this would be accurate. And I do feel like this can be Tomlin's first losing season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's always had a great team, and they have a great team now. But do with I know it's early, but do with early injuries and inconsistency with the connection with the team, because Big Ben, even though he wasn't the greatest, or he wasn't at his prime, he still had that relationship, that connection, that chemistry with the team, which made it happen. Those smart decisions. I don't think Mr. Trubisky could make those decisions 100% of the time. I do feel like he will fall through the cracks a lot, which will cost them the game a lot of those times. So there you have it. I got him going 7-10. Not trying to bash the Steelers. I don't hate on the Steelers, but that's what I feel like it's going to look like.
All right.
Pizza Pena, appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for joining us live. What's y'all's feedback here?
I definitely agree with you with if Mike Tomlin was to have a losing season, this would be the season that would happen. He's lost so much from his former teams, and they just don't look the same anymore, really. We had them going 9-8. I think both of those records are 100% possible. It's really just one or two of these games just going the other way, really. So I think we're both pretty fair with our assumptions. But I think some of those I would have to look up what you had, but I definitely disagreed as far as the back half of your schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got ours pulled up over here, but it's on a video. But yeah, I think we had them going 3-3 in the division. AJ had them going 1-5 in the division.
Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers are that bad in that division. Don't get me wrong, though, they can lose more games than we have said that they would lose, but I just don't think that they're that sorry of a team. I think that with Najee Harris, even though he has that injury, he's still going to be Najee Harris. He's going to play the rest of the season. And they have Kenny Pickett back there to really rely on sometimes. They said that he was really looking good in camp, but of course they want to go with the safe guy in Trubisky. They saw what happened with the Bears. They saw what happened every time the Jets put in a rookie quarterback that they drafted. It doesn't go well, especially when you don't have the strongest line. So I think they're just playing smart right now. I'm not saying that they're going to go out there and win the Lombardi Trophy or possibly even go to the playoffs this year, because I think that's going to be the Ravens in that division. But I mean, it's a good schedule, 7-10. It's not too bad for your first losing season with Mike Tomlin, but I just think that the Steelers are going to be a little bit better. I think we bash a little bit too hard on their defense and their corners because Mike Tomlin has always made those defensives good, whether he has very little at the safety position, very little at the corner position. Those linebackers really make up for it. The D-line really makes up for it. They don't give those quarterbacks a lot of time to throw. But that's all I got to say about it.
Awesome. I appreciate y'all's feedback. If you guys are listening too, give me your feedback as well, whether it be negative, whether it be positive, because I'm not trying to be negative towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I could be, you know, as realistic as I can be, whether it comes to the Steelers, whether it comes to the Niners. I know the Niners not going to have a perfect season. I know they're going to have a lot of downfall. I know they're going to hurt because we got basically a rookie quarterback. So I'm okay with saying that. I'm okay with admitting it. But speaking of quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks, a lot of people were so focused on the point that Mr. Trubisky was named the starter that people forgot that, you know, Mike Tomlin didn't want to trade Mason Rudolph. He did it. Now, me, I'm not the biggest fan of Mason Rudolph. I'm really not. Okay. But he was named second string. And for me, I thought that was quite shocking because they saw a lot of great things from Kenny Pickett during the offseason, the preseason. So why have him as a third string? Is that pushing him? Is that the coach pushing him? Hey, you need to do better if you want to be on this team, which I could totally see Mike Tomlin doing because he's a very respectable coach out there in the league. I mean, I love the way he coaches. You could hear it from all these NFL players. They're saying, hey, if I were to play for someone, if I were to play for a coach, it'll be Mike Tomlin. I love the way he coaches. I love the way he treats his players. He's a realist. And you know what? He does a darn good job. He's never had a losing season. So, you know, good job to that. Look at the team he had last year. No one thought the Steelers were going to be anything last year, and they made the playoffs. Whether you consider it a fluke or not because of the clown town, but you know what? It happened. They made it in. Whether they got embarrassed in the playoffs or not, they were able to be there. So good for them. But they are going to be coming up into a tough division. Do I think the division's winnable? Yes, for anyone who's there. The Cincinnati Bengals, I still think they're the lead runner. I'm not 100% convinced on Lamar Jackson. I think he's a great athlete, but honestly, teams have figured him out. I know he dealt with a lot of injury last year. We saw it, okay, and it hurt. It hurt me in fantasy football. But their teams are starting to recognize a certain pattern, the hardball pattern, okay? They're eating at that. Can the Steelers do the same thing? Can they do the same thing? Can they figure out stuff offensively to get everyone involved? Freemuth is going to be a huge part of this offense, whether you want to believe it or not. You guys have stud wide receivers. Who cares if you lost Juju? His head was not in the game. You have Freemuth, and he has to be a huge key factor to this offense. Bart Garrett. Hey, appreciate you, Bart Garrett. I believe we've seen you here before. Appreciate you, man. Says Pittsburgh won't be horrible. I could be wrong. Don't be surprised if Pickett isn't starting by week 6. That's what I said, or 7. I said that as well. And I think Trubisky is better than what he showed in Chicago. Honestly, Chicago, I could definitely see that. Trubisky is coming out from North Carolina, which is the top prospect. I wanted the Niners to pick him up, but Chicago moved up and got him. I think it was 3rd overall. Chicago or 2nd overall. And just the way Chicago was playing at the time, it was very messy. It's still messy to this point. And you couldn't really put a style of a play style with Chicago because it was always different. I felt like it was every year they try to do something different. They try to repersonalize themselves. Mike Tomlin has a lot of pride with himself, and he's a hard-nosed coach. So if he wants to do something his way, he looked at Trubisky for a reason. Obviously, he liked what he saw. He thinks he could replicate something that he has had with Big Ben Roethlisberger. So I do feel like Trubisky will look a lot better in Pittsburgh than he did in Chicago. I do agree with you there. Appreciate you being here, Bart. Consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps out a ton. Okay. But yeah, do you guys agree with that? You guys think that Mr. Trubisky will look a lot better here in Pittsburgh?
I agree with that. Chicago Bears, there's this curse with bad quarterback play. It's how they always have been, always will be. Now, when you saw his quarterback play, there was a lot of bad decisions that he made in Chicago, where he threw interceptions that just shouldn't be thrown. So my biggest worry is he going to get that out of the system, or at least limit those type of plays? So it's not like an every game issue. That's my biggest thing for Mr. Trubisky. Now, as far as him being benched after week 6 or 7, I don't agree with that. I think they're going to ride out with Mr. Trubisky for a lot longer than that, in my opinion.
Well, I think Trubisky hasn't been bad for the past few years. He just hasn't had a lot of time to shine. He was behind Josh Allen a lot in the Bills, so he got very, very little playing time, and when he did, it was trash hours, trash minutes, So he hasn't really shined too much since when he was in Chicago. But I think right now in the Tomlin system, he's a big-bodied guy like Big Ben. Maybe he's not as big as Big Ben. I remember we always go back to those videos where they're practicing and they're throwing the dummies at him, and Big Ben's just playing around. But now they have a quarterback who's actually hungry to play and hungry to start and hungry to possibly even get a bigger extension after these few years that they signed him for. But I mean, he's playing for a starting position now, and he's outright won it so far. I mean, he's a captain, just like we showed in the beginning of the show. And I think he's going to take the reins and do pretty well, especially with the surrounding cast he has, like Freiermuth, Johnson, and what's his name? Claypool. Like he's got good big-bodied receivers. Yeah. But I mean, he's got everything there to succeed, especially if Najee Harris can outlast that Liz Frank injury. I think that their offense can run pretty well, better than a lot of offenses that are out there in the NFL today.
Yeah, not the Niners, though. Not the Niners.
No, not the Niners.
No, of course not. Of course not. But, we got to talk about problems outside the field, outside the facility, and outside the team. Okay, we got to talk about those problems because just kind of like what Reed brought up to me earlier when, we re-signed Jimmy G, these fans, the beat reporter said it himself from Pittsburgh, these fans want Pickett. They want Kenny Pickett. They loved watching him during training camp. They loved watching him during the preseason. He's a homeboy. He's a homeboy. He's there he went to the University of Pittsburgh. He belongs there. It was fate, So these guys, they want him to be the starting QB. Then you have those guys who want to win, right? They think their best chance of winning right now, because it's true, right now, if you want to win, is Mitch Trubisky. He has the experience. He knows different systems. That's really it. He just has the experience. He's played with other teams before. He's learned under Josh Allen, which is, now being talked about one of the best quarterbacks in the league, which he is. Not taking that from him, which he is. He said he learned a lot from Josh Allen. And it takes a lot of, for the lack of better words, it takes a lot of courage for someone to come out and say that he learned something from someone who is younger, for someone who got drafted and found success. So good for him. It looks like he's matured a lot too. And he said it himself in a press conference. He felt he is more mature now. And I do feel like when you're playing, when you're working for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, you have to have a mature mentality. I don't think anything else is acceptable there. So good for him. As far as Mason Rudolph being the second string, it's questionable, but I think it's just a tactic to put a burner under him, to make him want it, to make him outperform in practice. And I do believe if something does happen to Mr. Trubisky, whether he gets injured or he's throwing 4 interceptions a game, next man up is Kenny Pickett. I do not believe it's Rudolph.
I think potentially also, sorry to cut you off, Vincent, why they may have Mason Rudolph as the second string is they might want to trade him mid-season. There could be quarterback injuries out there, and Jimmy Garoppolo, Mason Rudolph, there's other guys out there that could potentially get traded to fill those spots. Now, if you move Mason Rudolph as your third string, can you put Kenny Pickett above him? What does it say what you think of Mason Rudolph? What does the league think of that? So I think that might potentially be another reason also.
Yeah, I just want to bring up a little bit of Ben Roethlisberger. When we think of the Steelers, we always think of Ben Roethlisberger. But now Ben has a podcast, and it's called Footballin'. It's spelled really weird, but it's called Footballin'. And on his podcast, he says that he should start. I think he's a veteran. He's been around for a while. He gives you, in my opinion, the best chance to win right now. And he's talking about Mitchell Trubisky. But then he also goes down there, and a little bit later he says he praised Pickett for his performance in the preseason, but he thinks that it would be good for the rookie to sit out and learn for the time being. So right now, Roethlisberger knows exactly how Mike Tomlin thinks. He's been around him for the longest time. So if you're ever looking for like an insight on what the Steelers are doing, probably check out Ben Roethlisberger and his podcast Footballin'. He talks a lot all about the Steelers, all about what Mike Tomlin is thinking. He's a pretty down-to-earth guy when it comes to football. So I think that Ben knows it the best, and I think that that's what the Steelers are doing. They're really getting their rookie the chance to develop, because that's what this league has seen, and that's what this league has seen for young quarterbacks and their success. So the Steelers right now, they're biding their time, just like everybody can see. But right now, Kenny Pickett is the future for them, and he's going to be the future unless something horrible happens outside of the football field. So,
yeah, unless they really like Mr. Trubisky and they just keep, Pickett in the backfield for 3 years, like Love.
Like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's happened to Aaron.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Happened to Aaron. Yeah, happened to Young as well. After behind the greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
Bart, he says that Mitch has matured and he's a lot more mobile than Big Ben and Rudolph. Yeah, Rudolph is not very athletic. I also agree with Pickett before Rudolph if Trubisky gets hurt, and I think that's the only if he gets hurt. It doesn't matter if he plays horrible. I think that's what's going to take for Tomlin to make that decision to replace Mitch as a starting quarterback. And Bart, I finally recognize you. You actually subscribed to us when we did our giveaway, so appreciate you still hanging out, man. When we did our Dolphins giveaway, yeah. Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been our talk with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let me know if you agree or disagree with the way I scheduled or I predicted their schedule. Okay, I had them going 7-10. Now, later on this week, tomorrow, we got fantasy football talk. We got a fantasy draft right after this show. So we got to get ready. We got to prep up. I got to get my suit and tie on. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So tomorrow, fantasy talk. Thursday, we're going to be talking some more football. And we're also going to be doing some predictions for that night game. The NFL's here, baby. Friday, we got Niners talk. Wednesday, we got Packers talk.
Mhm.
And then Saturday, we will have our first week 1 prediction. Okay, so we will be predicting week 1, all the teams there. If you're a betting guy, betting gal, watch the show. We could help you out. Honestly, I feel like our picks are pretty solid. You could determine that after week 1, but I got confident in myself. So we'll see what happens. But until next time, you guys keep on grinding. Appreciate every single one of y'all being here. Thanks for staying faithful to NSP. And we'll see you guys later. We'll see you guys live tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Be there, all right? I know a lot of you guys are off, so be there or be square. See y'all. Until next time, keep grinding.